Here we are again. All right, my friends. One more time, I come to you. What I would like to speak about today is a little a composition of different things, actually. Compound video, you could call it. Different subjects. We have first an announcements to make. I will apologize a bit for my, so to say, aggressive behavior against others. It's not good. I understand that. That's what it's not. It's not about that. You must understand that's a trap that we can fall into if we don't are vigilant enough to see what this is all about. You see, all the faults and evilness in the children of darkness, it is true, it is there, but it's also there because it is there for us. Because if it wasn't any evil in or on earth, the education wouldn't work. We are here because our Father in heaven wants to teach us, and He wants to give us a what should I say? An education in how to behave. You see? Good behavior. So you have to understand this thing that I want to talk to you about now, that you and all of God's chosen people are supposed to be kings and queens. Isn't that true? Well, it's in this book. You will be priests and kings and queens in the coming kingdom. Okay, to understand this correctly, you must see that if you want to be a good king, you have to go through suffering, through chastisement, through fire, as Jesus did. Jesus was worthy of his kingship, so to say, because of his loyal suffering. He was the suffering servant. And so do you and I have to be. That's why Jesus said that ye that want to be the greatest, ye have to be the servant of others. Why? Well, the first thing is, if there wasn't any evil, you have no reference what evil is. The evil is there for you and for me to understand that is the wrong way. Look at them. Their disastrous life, miserable. It's not leading to happiness. It's problem, and problem again. Because how you treat others, ye will be treated yourself. So look at them as a reference for your own life. And don't fall into the trap to become like them, to attack with aggressive behavior and go into debates with them. You are not you show yourself not worthy. You are supposed to be a king. First you must be a prince. And you have one that will raise you up in a perfect way to become a great and wonderful and loving and reliable, true king. An honest and worthy king, exactly as Jesus is. But then you must know what suffering is. You have to go through suffering. Physical pain, lack of money. I just describe what have gone through the last years. Selling everything you have, you almost have nothing. It's a very stressful situation, and so on and so forth. Because God is about to teach you how this miserable state feels, so to say. Jesus experienced it when he was crucified and mocked and laughed at. But he never left his temple of love. He never went out to the battlefield and become an animal like them and scream and fight and so. No. He may have been angry a couple of times, of course, of righteousness matter, because he was his that kind of anger is a good form of anger, but he never slandered and talked behind backs of others, you see, gossip and so on. Never. And he never talked bad about the Romans, because he actually had put them there himself as a chastisement tool for his people. Now, you are not worthy to go down to the beast level. You must, with dignity, show yourself capable to handle this kind of evil people that attack you. Defeat them with dignity. It's in this book. And my friends, I can tell you truly, this book is not for everyone. This is a book for kings and queens. This is a preparation for them that are chosen. For an example, I just take from chapter 35, adversity. Adversity and affliction are to be expected, for they are necessities for the training of man. I can also say for the training of a king. You see, Jesus don't want weaklings as there is now in the world as kings. You see, Jesus wants leaders. This world have rulers. It's a big difference between a leader and a ruler. And Jesus wants to raise up rulers that will rule with him with the law in their hearts, loyal against King of Kings. Not rulers demanding, corrupted, and so on and so forth. And that's why we are tested with suffering in this world. He also wants to see that we can stand up to or resist corruption, for example. Because if you're in a very stressful situation, you have no money, and your body is weak, you are hurt, like I was with my Achilles tendon, and no money. You have to be very, very focused. It's very easy to end up on the wrong side, so to say, with corruption and only for your survival, to get into the Darwinistic mode, to live by the flesh. We never ever do that. We always live by and through the advices that we get from the Holy Spirit in our hearts. We never go down to the beast level and let us be ruled from the flesh, from our nefesh, and go out and to get what is good for our egos. We never ever debase ourselves to that kind of level. We must raise up to a divine spiritual level and show ourselves worthy to be clothed in white linen and to be kings and queens. And for all you women out there, ye must know how to behave as a queen. We're talking chastity, we're talking decorum. A wonderful word like that, words like that. And to govern love in your hearts and to be queens of the heart. And to help and to guide your husband, your princes, your coming kings to do the best and the righteous things and to become the best they can be. Okay? Now, I wanted to go into another subject for a moment. I will talk about Rome. You see, Rome is the fourth and last beast. We are now down in the toes of the Daniel's statue. Daniel had a vision, or I should say Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, a vision about the statue of different kingdoms. We have gold, the head of gold, Babylon, you know this, and silver, Medio-Persia, and copper, Greece, and the legs, Rome, East and West Rome. And now we are in the last face of that statue, the feet, the 10 kings. And out of them should come the little horn. But we know that the little horn was the Pope, the Catholic Church. It's raised to its power in 538 or so. It's actually started with Constantine around 325 in Nicaea there, when he took Christianity and corrupted. Because we are talking corruption here. Why are the corruptions so widely spread in the world today? Because this kingdom rules the whole earth. Do you think it's a coincidence that a mafia, for an example, criminal network, has its origin in Italy, Rome? No, because that system, that Catholic system, is based on rule through hidden societies, Masonry. I have talked to you a lot of the Jesuits, priests and so on, undercover, submerged in darkness, hidden society. Kennedy talked about that in his speak about censorship at Astoria, the hotel there. And it cost him his life, probably. Listen to that, because that is very much his death speech. But it's also a speech that is explaining how the system is working, how it functions. Okay. So, the corruption, the criminality, they work together with the king, the ruler, the Pope. Listen now, he used as a pawn, he used criminals for his political strategy, divide and conquer, problem, reaction, solution. He used them. If he wants more control and cameras and so on, yeah, he gives some weapons to the mafia and the criminals. That's why we have a lot of shooting, because when they are terrorizing the society, then the Pope can, through his agentures, go out and with propaganda and so on and so forth. Jesuit priests, Freemasonry and so on. Infiltrate political system, infiltrate high positions in society. He can now legalize his new society that he wants. Rome, you see, Sweden, for example, have now opened up our military bases so that the United States can come in with their military equipment and forces and so on. That was exactly a tactic that Rome used to conquer other countries. The best way to conquer a country is with subversive propaganda first, then you just can march in with the army with no fighting. That's what's happening. Sweden are now a Catholic country. Okay, I'm not criticize it. I'm just expose it because it's true. But it has to do with the sin of the people. The people's sin and their sins have opened the door for this, because this force, America and Rome, is has the whole purpose with it is to chastise the um, um, the people that won't obey and listen to the law of love and follow it, so to say. And how can I say that they are linked together, America and Rome? Well, I have a very interesting theory about that, because I've been thinking a lot of it. You see, they all have the standard, the flag of an eagle. Rome had the eagle. America has their American eagle. And it's very complicated in a way, because also Russia has the two-headed eagle. So they are all under the Pope. The whole earth is under him. But the eagle is very essential in this case, because I have a theory, as I said, that when the Israelites were camping in the desert, they were in 4 different directions. In the east, for example, we have Judah with a lion. We have a lion. And we have Reuben, a man's face, and we have Ephraim with an ox, and we have Dan with an eagle. Here it becomes very interesting, I think, because could it be that Dan is the conquering force behind Rome and America? The eagle tells it. And could it be that's why they are not counted in the 144,000 in the book of Revelation? Dan is excluded from the tribes there. So I wonder if it could be that they are, you see, Dan in Hebrew means judge. Could it be that Dan is the judging force which now will or are judging the world for their sins? They have the same role as Judah had, Judah Iscariot. They had the same rule as Judah had as one of Joseph's brother when they cast him into the pit. I think that this is a very big statement, but I think it's a lot of truth in it. That Dan, the tribe of Dan, is the judgment force that will judge the world for their sins. And they are behind the Pope, the Rome, the eagle, the American, the eagle flag. And they are spreading out through the world to judge it because of their sins. That's something to chew on. But I think it's true. That's why they are not included in the 144,000. They are excluded because of their judgmental rule that they are. Of course, God is behind it, but He has, as I told you, shown it clearly with Judah Iscariot and so on and so forth, and Judah with Joseph. You can see it if you have eyes to see with. Okay, much wonderful teaching today, wasn't it? Yes. But remember, show with your chastisement. You have to go, one more thing. Look at King David for an example. You see, if you don't have chastisement, if you don't have been or gone through suffering, you don't understand what suffering is. That will raise your empathy level. When you then become king or queen, ye will know how the poor and how the people, if they have problem, how they feel. And now you have a greater understanding for and understand what suffering is. Jesus had to go through that too. He must go through that to understand, to make himself worthy, to raise up his empathy levels. You see, Israel have to be slaves in Egypt for 430 years because they should know how that life felt. So that when they in the future became the rulers, they should not treat their brothers and sisters the same way as Pharaoh did. That's the whole purpose with it. Can you understand this? God are training us to be perfect kings and queens. Because the world that will come will be a perfect world, and we will rule with love, with empathy, with wisdom. We will not rule with fear and hatred, and especially fear, as the kings are doing today. They become evil and so on and so forth because of the lack of knowledge. You see, every king, look for an example in the Bible, every king except David. What David had to go through hardship and chastisement with Saul. He was almost killed by him. You see, he was terrorized. He had to flee. And then when he became king, he was a king of the right heart, so to say. But the other kings that followed him, except maybe for a couple, Hezekiah or Solomon, but Solomon did also have some problems later in life. But most of the other kings did do evil in the sight of the Lord, it says, because they haven't gone through the hardship as David and Jesus did. They were born with a silver spoon in the mouth in the castle. They were spoiled. You see? That's why we have to suffer and show ourselves worthy and obey, whatever the case may be, the king, what the king says, the great king. I hope you understand it. And one more thing. If it is true that I'm saying, which it is, because I know what I'm talking about, then it's not hard to endure this suffering periods, these periods of suffering, because you now know why you must go through them to raise your level, your mental level and understanding, to bring wisdom and empathy and love into your spiritual being, to waken up your spiritual existence. You see? Why did I have to have such a terrifying, terrible pain when I hurt my Achilles heels? Well, now you know how other people feels when they are suffering through physical traumas. Help them, be kind to them, and so on and so forth. Do you understand? It's not the purpose to torture you. It's not about that. God is not an evil father that likes to torture his children. No. He's about to raise them up to a much, much higher level of understanding. He's enriched their understanding of what it means to exist in this world. And you have to go through hardship and times of prosperity. You see, this book is wonderful. It's all about adversity. It's a lot of that. But it also said that the adversity part, is the easiest thing. The hardest and toughest test is when God puts his blessing on you. And when you are enriched with money, for example. Because then he really will test you. What will you do with all that power? Will you use it for yourself? Or have you understood through your chastisement periods what to do with it? You see, your surplus is the key here. Your surplus, if you have a lot of money, is the key what you do with that. When you have everything and you live a modest life, not too much, as he told his kings, don't have too much horses. I know Solomon fall for that. Don't marry a lot of and have a lot of wives. Solomon fall on that too. But you see, don't stay in a state that you only um, take what you for your survival, what you need. Then, with the surplus of your riches, use it for good. Use it to help the poor, to do good for humanity, and to spend it on things that make this world a better place for others. I hope this has been a blessing for you. And we'll see what I have to say in the next video, but only God knows. Thank you for today, and amen.